And now your man,
Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 489th edition of TSR Live. It is Tuesday, July 16th, 2019. We are streaming live to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So however you're watching, wherever you're watching from, I sincerely thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Live a part of your daily routine. Let's get right to it, guys. On February 11th, 1990, in Tokyo, Japan, James Buster Douglas entered the ring against the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, as a 42-1 underdog. And for good reason, right? Like, no one thought that Buster Douglas would win that fight, not even Douglas himself. Well, Buster Douglas's manager probably said something to this effect when taking this fight. He said, look, we don't have a snowball's chance in hell to beat this guy, but we're not just going to go in there and give it to him. We're not just going to go in there and take a dive. Okay? This guy is 37-0 with 33 knockouts, but he hasn't been past the third round in 14 of his last 15 fights. So if we can just survive past the third, we might have a chance to wear him down. His manager probably also told him, listen, James, you've got a 12-inch jab advantage. Your arms are 12 inches longer than his. So if you can keep him away, fight on the perimeter, and avoid trading punches with him on the inside, this is also going to help you. If you make it into the later rounds, he probably told him, go to the body and take his win. And maybe, James, just maybe we can get out of here without getting knocked out, or maybe even lose in a split decision to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Well, James Buster Douglas executed this plan to perfection, and though he was knocked down in the 8th round against Mike Tyson, he recovered and knocked Tyson out in the 10th and shocked the world to become the most unlikely undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, which is probably considered still the greatest upset in sports history. Bigger than the United States over Russia in 1980 at Lake Placid, bigger than Villanova over Georgetown in 1985, probably even bigger than NC State over the University of Houston Phi Slamma Jamma back in 1983. Now, Tyson was not at his best. Number one, he didn't train. He admitted he didn't train. Number two, he split with his longtime trainer, Kevin Rooney, and went with a less experienced trainer for the fight. Number three, he was going through his public divorce with Robin Givens. His life was spiraling out of control outside of the ring. Number four, and probably really, really importantly, their corner, Team Tyson, did not have what's called an end swell. An end swell is a cold steel compress that cornermen use on the eyes, on and around the eyes of the fighter to keep his eye from swelling, right? If his eye swells, you can't see the other fighter. You can't defend yourself properly. Well, the end swell does a very good job in keeping the swelling down. Well, Team Tyson didn't have an end swell. So instead, they had to use a rubber glove with ice in it to keep his eye from swelling. That didn't help at all. Anybody who's actually seen the fight, you can watch it on YouTube. You can watch, I think it's called 42-1, the ESPN 30 for 30. Tyson was fighting out of one eye for the last 5 rounds of the fight. Now, let's give credit where credit's due here. Team Douglas had a plan, and that's why they won the fight. Divorce, gentlemen, is much the same way. When a man walks into family court, or when he walks into divorce court, he's got no shot. He has longer odds than Buster Douglas had against Tyson. Longer than even 42-1. If you're entering family court as a 42-1 underdog, your odds are pretty good. The fact that our court systems are heavily biased towards women, they're now those women are now incentivized to file for divorce because in all likelihood they'll get full custody of the children. They'll be entitled to half of your present and future earnings and the use of the family home. But these scenarios only happen when men just walk in and lay down, when men just walk in and play dead. They think, well, there's really no need in fighting this, so I may as well just do whatever I'm told. Which is the same as a man being accused of murder getting a court-appointed attorney to defend him, who will basically escort him personally to the electric chair. But what men don't realize is that they don't have to get taken to the cleaners in divorce court and family court if they have a plan, if they play their cards right. Yes, the odds are stacked against us, guys, just like they were stacked against Buster Douglas back in 1990 on that fateful day in Tokyo, Japan. But Douglas had a plan, and he achieved a favorable outcome. Believe it or not, gentlemen, there are things that you can do to mitigate the inevitable damage divorce could cause, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, I'm going to go ahead and do this disclaimer. This is not legal advice, nor is it intended to be. I am not an attorney or a legal professional. Everything I'm about to tell you should be evaluated by an attorney who has a bar license to practice law in the state that you reside. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to talk about 10 things that you can do to survive and possibly even win your divorce. Now, keep in mind that all state laws are different. And because no two circumstances are exactly alike, results may vary. But the advice that I'm going to give you today, guys, it is universal. This is all going to be based on common sense, survival, protecting yourself, and having a good working knowledge of female nature from a red pill perspective. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to define the word win. What does the word win define when it comes to divorce? What does it mean to win a divorce? Well, in my estimation, a win in a divorce or to split or child custody, number one, 50-50 custody agreement. Okay? Listen, you don't want your kids taken away from you. But by the same token, you don't want your kids taken away from their mother. Right? Listen, kids need their mother and their father. If you can't live under the same roof, you're just going to have to get split custody. That is a favorable outcome, because if there is not split custody, guess what that means? That means child support on your end more often than not. Number two, little to no child support. There is little to no child support needed when there's a 50-50 custody agreement. Number three, keeping what you came into the relationship with. If you came into the relationship with a Camaro and a net worth of $50,000, you need to leave that relationship with a Camaro and a net worth of $50,000. Don't let her take you to the cleaners. That's part of the win. Number four, keeping most of your present and future earnings. Again, no exorbitant child support payments or anything like that, which leads me to number five, no alimony. Now, all five of these things they're not always possible. Understand, gentlemen, you're not going to get out of this unscathed. You are going to take a loss in some way, shape, or form. But the idea here is not to get taken to the cleaners. So, for example, you might have to pay a small amount in child support if there's a huge discrepancy in your earnings because she doesn't make as much as you. But it's not going to be enough to make or break you if you get 50-50 custody. You are going to take a financial hit regardless, but keeping it to a minimum is definitely a win. Number one. Number two, these are your kids. If your soon-to-be ex-wife is a broke-ass bitch, you want your kids to be taken care of. You want your kids to be taken care of in every way, shape, or form. If you know that they're not going to be taken care of financially with her, then yeah, there's no shame, there's no harm in ponying up the extra money to make sure that when your kids are not with you, that they are taken care of. At that point, you got to be a man about it. If you really love and care about your kids, there's nothing wrong with paying a little bit of child support to sort of even the lifestyle. Nothing exorbitant, right? You're not going to be paying for her hair and nails like they do in the hood, right? No, you're paying. If you are paying enough to the point where they can maintain at least a similar lifestyle to the lifestyle that you provide for them when they're with her, that's a win. A loss, gentlemen, would be your wife getting full custody, you paying a ridiculous amount of child support, giving up the family dwelling, losing your car or cars, and her getting a piece of your 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA, your savings, pension. Those things, guys, would be a huge loss. The idea here is to keep as much of that as possible. If you manage to hang on to most of what you came into the relationship with, get 50-50 custody of the kids, and keeping most of what you make now and in the future, that is a huge win for any man in a divorce in America. So now that we've established what a win is, here are 10 ways to put yourself in a better position to accomplish these things, this win. Number one, very important. Gentlemen, you have to accept the fact that she is gone and gone for good. A lot of men make the egregious mistake of thinking that there's a chance to reconcile. They hope against all hope that she'll have a change of heart and that she'll come running back to you. Put that out of your mind. She is having sex with other guys. She already has a boyfriend. She has already moved on. What you're doing here is you are delaying the inevitable. Sometimes your soon-to-be ex-wife will make you think there's a chance, but that's not what's going on. She is setting you up. She wants you to think that there's a chance to reconcile, to get more money out of you, more child support, more of your stuff. Do not let your soon-to-be ex-wife tempt you with the possibility of reconciliation. It is false. So number one, accept the fact that she is gone and gone for good. It sucks. I know you love her. I know it hurts. This is the way it is. Number two, do not move out. The reason you don't move out is that this could easily be characterized as abandonment by your soon-to-be ex-wife. If the house is also in your name, if both of your names are on the mortgage or the deed, you have every right to be there as she does. You have as much right to be there as your soon-to-be ex-wife does. If she asks you to move out, do not move out. It is your place too. But on the other side of that coin, do not kick her out. Because what is she going to do if you kick her out? She'll take the kids and say that you kicked her out. Listen, I understand it is your first instinct to kick her cheating ass out if you find out she's fucking her, sleeping with her personal trainer. You're hurt, you're upset, you're pissed off, you want her gone, you don't want to see it, smell it, hear it. I understand that. Fight that impulse, don't kick her out. Now, if you don't move out, she will leave. She doesn't want to be around you, but make sure you document that she left on her own accord, of her own free will and volition, and that you did not force her. Okay? Record that conversation if you have to. Talk to an attorney on how to establish that she left of her own free will and volition. If you kick her out, she will also tell her kids. She will tell your kids that you kicked her out. Do not move out. Do not kick her out. If you stay there, she will more than likely move out on her own. If she does, talk to an attorney beforehand to establish to the court, because you know this is going to come up, that she left of her own free will and volition. This is very important. Number three, hire a female attorney. Guys, I would highly recommend you Google Marilyn York. Marilyn York is a divorce attorney, a men's rights divorce attorney in Reno, Nevada. And I had a couple of clips to play for you guys, but I didn't have time to queue them up. Just got done with a 20-mile bike ride. I didn't have time to queue any of that stuff up. But the reason why you want to hire a female attorney is because women know women. Females know females. They know how they work. Females know about the shit they pull. Female attorneys don't buy into the bullshit because they too are women. Female attorneys don't get swept up in another woman's emotions or beauty. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. Your future ex-wife will flirt with your male attorney, and guys, you guys can think I'm crazy. The female id knows that the male id wants to fuck females. Your soon-to-be ex-wife will flirt with your male attorney. She will do it on the sly. It happens all the time. Hire a female attorney. I wouldn't recommend hiring a woman for anything except for divorce court. Number four, be very, very careful about what you say, what you write, and what you text. Guys, this is emotional. Divorce sucks. It's an emotional roller coaster. Completely understandable. But this is where she will try to reconcile with you or give you the impression that she wants to get back with you. But anything you say, anything you write, anything you text can and will be used against you in a court of law. I don't know how many of you guys have been arrested. I've been arrested plenty of times myself. I'm not gonna shy away from that. But we've all heard the Miranda rights. What is the first thing that a police officer tells you when he slaps the cuffs on you? He tells you you have the right to remain silent. We hear that all the time, so often it goes in one ear and out the other. But what we don't realize is that he is telling you you have a right to shut the hell up. Okay? So for example, let's just say that you're swept up in her emotions. Okay, You tell her, okay, I'll let you have custody. Guys, she will use that and say you agreed to it. Not that listen, maybe it stands on its own, maybe it doesn't, right? As grounds to give her custody. Maybe that gives her custody, maybe it doesn't, probably not, but that certainly wouldn't help your case, right? Here's another example. You go on some emotional tirade. Oh, I can't believe you cheated on me, blah, 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 blah. She'll use that and say you threatened her, which also makes you an unfit father. Here's another example. You might divulge a side business or maybe an additional stream of income inadvertently by saying, well, when my Patreon money comes in, I'll pay for little Johnny's doctor's appointment next week. Gentlemen, she will use that, and the court will investigate that source of income to paint you as a dishonest father and add that to your child support. And oh, by the way, now you're in trouble with the IRS. Think your soon-to-be ex-wife wouldn't do that. If you really, really want to be careful, get a third-party arbiter to arbitrate all of your communications between you and your future ex-wife so that there's no mistake in what was said and what wasn't. It's going to cost you a little extra coin now, but it's going to save you a lot of extra coin later, guys. Be careful what you write, what you say, and what you text. Number 5, this is a big one. Do not agree to anything. Don't verbally agree. Don't agree via text. Don't agree via email. Your soon-to-be ex-wife knows about the male mind. And what she will do is she will try to appeal to your sense of fairness and provide her instinct. She is doing this to set you up. She knows that you still love her. She knows you still love the kids and will attempt to get you to agree to certain things just to get more stuff for herself. Gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, women are selfish as fuck, and they will use any and all techniques to get as much as they can out of you legally or otherwise. Do not fall for this trick, guys. Don't fall for the guilt trip stuff. What, you don't love your kids? She'll say, you don't want to be a good father? This is why you need to limit your communication with her in the first place and watch what you say, watch what you write, watch what you text to begin with. Again, I don't know the laws, but that could be used against you in court. And even if it couldn't be used against you, it's certainly not going to help your case. She could show text messages that you said that you agreed to give her $1,000 a month for child support. She could use an email that says that you agreed to pay for health insurance for little Johnny. She could record a phone conversation that you agreed to let her have the house or give her full custody. Do not agree to anything. Do not give her anything. You need to do all of this through your female attorney. Any transference of resources, do so through your female attorney. And don't buy into her threats, guys. She's going to tell, well, they're going to give me the house, the kids, the car, the dog, and half your paycheck anyway, so you may as well do it now anyway. She doesn't know one way or the other what she's going to get. That's why she's trying to get you to agree to it. Anything she gets, gentlemen, should be court-ordered and negotiated through your attorneys. When you are communicating with your soon-to-be ex-wife, communicate her with the mindset that she is trying to screw you over. Well, why should I do that, Donovan? Because that's what she's doing. She didn't care about you. She only cares about herself. Don't try to be the good guy. That's useless. Too many men get caught up in trying to look like the good guy, which is understandable. Because you're still thinking, if I'm a good guy, she might come back. No, Women are experts at smear campaigns. We're going to get into this more a little bit later. Do not agree to anything without your female lawyer present. This afternoon at 5 Eastern, I am releasing another archive video from way back around Thanksgiving of 2016. It was an in-studio appearance with Obsidian. Yes, I went to Obsidian's place to make an in-studio appearance on his show. Devin was actually also with me at the time. We started to get a little more serious, being a little over a month removed from our trip to Hawaii. It was also, actually, as it happens, it was also the very first time I ever physically spoke voice to voice to Alan Roger Curry, who I had no idea was as funny as he was. And that conversation was the genesis of my fruitful relationship with Alan Roger Curry. So listen, a great episode to turn back the clock with to get a better idea of how the show has evolved over the years. I will be releasing one archive video per day, every day for the next, I would say 300 to 325 plus days from the very beginning, from episode 1. If you want access to the complete archive of all of my work from start to finish, go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. You also get access to the podcast versions of these episodes, which means you can listen to them straight through without any of the commentary. It's just the good stuff, as well as access to my weekly call-in show on Sunday afternoons at 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. So go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe now to sign up. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, this is the end of the road for you, but you can watch the rest of the show on YouTube. Just search for Donovan Sharpe, subscribe, hit the bell, and you are good to go. Thank you guys for watching on Facebook and Twitter, and we will see you guys on YouTube in a few. Let's go ahead and continue. Number 6, do not get your family or friends involved. This is a big, big no-no, guys. Do not tell them anything. Don't tell them details, nothing. Your soon-to-be ex-wife could get information out of your friends and family and use what you have told them against you. You could vent to your buddy and text her, "That fucking bitch, she cheated on me, I could kill her." Your buddy can inadvertently tell her this and other things that you've said to him in confidence, and that can and will be used against you in a court of law. Definitely don't communicate with her family because they'll look for anything to use against you. Sometimes she will put her family up to actually befriending you and giving you a false sense of security to say, do, text, or write anything that could damage your case, guys. Listen, I understand this is a tough time and you need somebody to talk to. If you need somebody to talk to a therapist. If you need someone to talk to Donovan Sharpe. DonovanSharpe.com/consult. I'll talk you through it. Okay? Not only that, therapists and myself, I guess unofficially, are bound by patient confidentiality. So they are legally obliged to keep their mouths closed. Your family, gentlemen, listen, your family might have your best interest at heart. I understand that. But all it takes is just one of her family members to reach out to one of your family members. Something gets said about what you said, and it turns into this big thing. Tell your family, give them marching orders to remain radio silent on everything, and instruct them not to communicate with any of her family members until the court and divorce proceedings have concluded. Number 7, this is a big one. Deactivate all social media. Gentlemen, I am here to tell you, divorces are literally won and lost on social media. Think I'm lying? Look it up. Talk to any attorney. They'll tell you the same thing. Women and their families will have your Facebook. They will have your Instagram. They will have your Twitter under 24/7 surveillance to spot anything that could help her, hurt you, or both. I know it's tempting to show her that you're doing just fine without her, which, by the way, you're not, because you want it to look that way, which is understandable, right? But guys, that's a lose-lose situation. You post a picture of you and a hot girl you're banging, she'll claim you cheated on her with that girl, which makes you look like a bad husband and father. She will also question if you bought her around your children. Post a picture of you and the hot girl on vacation. Well, how did you pay for that? Where'd you get money for that? Post a picture of you buying something nice. Well, where'd you get the money for that? Post something about what you're doing and she'll say something witty like, well, if you're doing such and such, then why can't you take care of your kids? You post a selfie of you in your house, she might pick up on something in the background that could hurt your case. This is what they do. She'll say, well, what is that vintage? Now, I paid $32 for this Eagles helmet, but what is this vintage Eagles helmet doing in the background? Where did you get that? I don't remember you buying that. This is what they do, guys. They will also use social media to start a dialogue about the divorce to bait you into saying something stupid so that she can turn it around and say you threatened her or something to that effect. Guys, listen. We have all seen knockdown, drag-out fights on Facebook between soon-to-be divorced couples with all the mudslinging involved. And if you get involved with that nonsense, it is always a lose-lose situation for you. Trust me. To avoid all of this nonsense, deactivate everything and tell your friends and family not to pay attention to anything that she or her family members post or say, because they're going to try. Plus, when she's out there running her smear campaign, If your stuff is deactivated, she can't tag you in her posts, right? Not that her friends and families won't see your name, but if you're off social media, it has much less of an impact on them and you because you're not seeing or hearing about it. And tell your family and friends, again, give them marching orders not to tell you anything about what she's posting on social media. You don't want to know about her new boyfriend. You don't want to know about her jumping on the carousel. You don't want to know about her going to Cabo with her trainer. When it's all over and the dust has settled and everything is agreed to, the custody order's in place and everything's been taken care of, then you can post pictures of you and your hotter, younger, blonder, tighter girlfriend with the huge fake tits laying on the beach sipping pina coladas. And trust me when I tell you, that picture will eventually get back to your now ex-wife. Number 8, take up a productive hobby. Divorces can take an emotional toll, guys. They hurt. Even if you don't love her anymore, it's still hard. I remember when Darcy and I got divorced. The day that we got divorced, we walked into the courtroom. We paid $12. We both agreed to a divorce. I didn't love her anymore. She didn't love me. It was as amicable as could be, but it wasn't easy. This is a woman that I had known for a decade, right? I was married to her for I was married to her for 7 years. Been with her for 8 years. This is 8 years down the drain. I didn't love her anymore, but it still took its toll. So what you do to quell these feelings, start lifting weights. Right? Write a book. I remember I saw this one story about, I think it's like a 70-year-old bodybuilder. I think it was like 44, 45 years old. He went through a divorce with his wife. He just started lifting weights, became a competitive, senior citizen bodybuilder. Write a book. Ride a bike. Build ships and bottles. Do whatever you have to do to get your mind off of the divorce and improve yourself as a man. Do not start drinking. Do not start doing drugs. Because trust me when I tell you, it makes it much, much worse. Number 9, document everything. Guys, document phone calls, document text messages, document email correspondence. By documenting everything, this eliminates the he said, she said. And remember, not to give her anything to use against you. Because guess what? She'll be documenting everything too. When you're with your kids, keep all of the receipts of things that you've bought for them. Clothes, food, school supplies, etc. This shows that you're a good father who is taking care of your children. When you take them out to have fun, take pictures, take videos, take selfies, right? Do all this stuff to show that they like being with you and that your children love you. Take pictures of you eating ice cream with them, watching movies, painting, playing in the yard, anything and everything you can think of that puts you in a good light as a father, document it with pictures and videos. The reason this is important to do this, as soon as your wife files for divorce, or the reason she does this is because as soon as your wife files for divorce, she starts the smear campaign immediately. She'll try to paint you as the deadbeat dad who doesn't care about his kids. And she does this for the sole purpose of getting full custody, which entitles her to child support and government assistance, as well as the family home and the cars. Women know that what they say holds much more weight in both the court of law and the court of public opinion. And they also know that the court of public opinion heavily influences the court of law. It's not supposed to, but they know it does. So they'll say whatever they have to in order to curry favor with the public and subsequently the family court judge. So when your soon-to-be ex-wife says, he threatened me, you can show screen grabs of the text conversation you had with her to prove your innocence. When she says, well, he never does anything with the kids, you can show all the pictures and videos of you having fun with the kids. Well, if I never do anything with the kids, looks like we're having fun here at the pool. Here's us eating ice cream afterwards. Oh, here's us doing a movie night. Here's us building forts on Friday night. When she says, well, he never buys anything for the kids, you can produce the receipts that shows you paid for their school clothes, their school supplies, doctor's visits, meals, anything else you paid for. The court of public opinion and the court of law doesn't believe anything that we as men say anyway, but they believe everything a woman says, regardless of her lack of evidence. The only way to win in a smear campaign that a woman has levied against you is to document everything. Number 10, lastly, and very importantly, communicate with your children. This is very important. Your ex is going to start that smear campaign, like I said, as soon as she files for a divorce. She's going to talk shit about you. She's going to tell lies about you. Do not do the same thing. Do not get down and roll around in the mud with your soon-to-be ex-wife. Okay? I've had, certain beefs with other people. I'm not the guy that's going to get down and roll around in the mud because that's their world. Women thrive in the drama. They thrive in the mudslinging. Don't get down there with her. And if you do, guess what your kids are going to do? They're going to go back and tell her. And not only that, they'll probably ask her, hey, did your daddy say anything about me? What's your daddy doing? Da-da-da-da-da. Here's another thing. Do not ask your children about what she's up to. Don't do it. Don't ask them about what she's saying about you. Don't ask her about what she's up to. If they start to tell you, hey, daddy, you know what mom said? Listen, I don't need to hear that stuff. If mommy says anything about me, just keep it to yourself. Okay? If you talk shit about her to your kids, she will use that against you guys. But make sure that your children know that you love them and show them that you love them. You need to communicate with your kids that the divorce is not their fault, guys. If they ask you why you and mommy split up, tell them, listen, it's complicated and I'll explain it when you're older. Or listen, it just didn't work out between me and your mother. It's nobody's fault. We both just decided to go our separate ways. But we both still love you very much. This is where you take the high road, guys. Kids aren't stupid. Mom may influence them to some degree with what they say, but single mothers are terrible moms. They're selfish and they behave badly. And guys, believe it or not, kids may be young, but they pick up on this stuff quite easily. If you're the parent who acts responsibly, if you're the parent who thinks and acts rationally, if you're the parent who doesn't talk shit about the other parents, they will see this for themselves. You guys have to give your children a little more credit as far as their intelligence goes. They know the difference between a good parent and a bad parent. They may not realize it right away, right? They might not be able to pick up on what's really happening right away, but they will down the road. They'll replay everything in their minds and act accordingly. Here's another thing. Your ex is going to try to spoil them by buying them things, giving them money, not disciplining them, and telling the courts that you're a mean dad when you discipline them. She will do everything in her best interest as far as the courts are concerned. But she never has the kids' best interests at heart because she is using them as a means to an end to get back at you. And again, guys, I'm telling you, kids pick up on this stuff. They do. They're not stupid, man. Yes, kids like the toys, the gifts, and the ice cream, and not having to go to bed early, and having pizza for breakfast, and getting whatever they want. But when they see mom's face in the phone all the time and not paying any attention to them, they're going to get the picture very quickly. Continue to be a good father, and trust me when I tell you, things will take care of themselves, provided that you are doing the right thing. Guys, there is no silver bullet for winning a divorce. Like I said at the top of the show, the deck is heavily stacked against us. And it really is a shame. It's a damn shame that avoiding certain financial ruin in any given divorce is considered a win for men in a divorce court, while it's an epic failure for women. That's how it is. As crappy as that is, guys, it is important for us to realize that we can avoid completely getting screwed over by the court system in a divorce. You're going to have to do some work, guys. You're going to have to hit the pavement. You're going to have to do your due diligence. You're going to have to hire the right attorney. It's going to take effort and it's going to take money. But if you keep these 10 things in the front of your mind and apply them accordingly and consistently, you will keep from getting got by your slut of a soon-to-be ex-wife. Don't let that bitch win, man. Don't let her do it. Protect yourself. Put in the work. Exercise temperance and discipline. I know it'll be tempting to get down in the mud and sling around with her. I know it'll be tempting to post a picture of you and your big-tittied, red-haired girl flavor of the week. None of that is necessary. Don't do that stuff, guys. Sometimes you got to lose the battle to win the war. Let her get involved with all that stuff. Let her set those traps for herself. Because when she crashes and burns, and she will, you can drive by that wreckage with your hotter, younger, tighter, childless girlfriend and laugh your asses all the way to the beach. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.